everyone, it's Cheryl from Teaching 2 and 3-year-olds. This week's theme continues to be rainbows. We started it last week. We're moving on with it this week, adding some St. Patrick's Day as well. But before I take you on a tour, I just wanted to mention that unfortunately the COVID-19 or coronavirus, as you might call it, it hit the Pacific Northwest last week. And the teachers had to meet and talk about how we needed to change our classroom environment and some of our activities because of this. And I know some of you, unfortunately, are dealing with this as well. I've seen conversations in my private Facebook group about how you're dealing with this. So I had to take some of our activities away because what we have out, we need to make sure that we can wipe it down. We also have a bin that if something goes in contact with the mouth, we toss it in there so it can go through the church. We are in a church and they have a big commercial dishwasher that sanitizes everything. So anything that we felt came in contact near the children's mouths, we made sure that all went into that bin, and then we're washing it at the end of each day and sanitizing it. So I will share a little bit more about what changes we made as I take you on our classroom tour. And please note that we had some technical issues while we were shooting this video, so I apologize if the sound is not quite as it usually is. So here is our classroom tour. So our sensory bin obviously had to be changed. If you saw our photos last week, we wanted to use rainbow rice, and it was so fun putting that together, but we knew that that was not a good choice if everything has to be sanitized. So we took the rice out and replaced it with some Lego Duplos, which are much easier to take out after the children have used them and run them through the dishwasher on the sanitation mode and then put them back in for the next day's use. Another change that we decided to make was the books that we use. We decided to use our hardcover board books because they can be wiped down versus our paperback books. So that is why you see the empty bookshelf behind it, because right now we are using the board books, and we also removed all the pillows from our chair and couch. And you might recall that this is where we normally have our Play-Doh, but that was another thing that we decided we would not be using during this time. So no Play-Doh. Instead, we will be putting some different puzzles on this table that can easily be wiped down. One of our art activities this week is going to be making these rainbow sun catchers. Now, I get a lot of different cardboard coming in with all my Amazon orders, so I decided to put that to good use and make some cardboard frames that we will use with this activity. So I just simply cut them into long rectangles and then turn them into frames. And then I will give the children their choice of paint that they can choose to paint their frames. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some contact paper and I am going to put that on one side of the frame. And then the children can have some cellophane, different colored cellophane, that I got off Amazon. I'll drop a link in the description. And I cut these into smaller pieces, and I'm keeping them separated because I want to make sure that the children get at least one of each color to put on their sun catcher. And so they'll just stick the pieces on, just like this, and then we can leave it like this so that it has the sticky part, and you can just stick it right in the window. Or if you don't want it to be sticky, you can just put some more contact paper on the other side and you can just hang it on your wall or on your light table. We're also going to be doing a shamrock art activity this week using my free printable shamrock, and I will drop a link in the description. And so what we're going to do with this activity is we are going to be taking blue paint and yellow paint and squirting it onto paper and then taking a roller and rolling the two colors to make green, and then taking the shamrock and pressing it face down onto the paint to pick up a print. And then you can either leave it as is, or you can cut around the shamrock to separate it from the background. One of our table activities this week is transferring pom-poms to this shamrock tray. This is a fun, fine motor activity, and we have a bowl of green pom-poms, and then we have the shamrock tray, and the children can use the tweezers to transfer the pom-poms back and forth, or they can use the bug tongs to pick up the pom-poms and drop them into the shamrock. Another table activity that we will have is this stacking activity that has numbers 1 through 5, and it also has different colors. So the children are going to be looking at the different colors as they're choosing where to put the rings, and they also can look at the numbers and count how many rings go on each peg. I have a free shamrock color matching activity that we are going to be doing this week, and what I like to do is make 2 copies, and I keep 1 copy on the table, and then the other copy I will cut them apart so they're separate cards, and then the children are going to take them and they're going to place them on top of the matching color. Just like this. It's just a very simple way to work on color matching, placing the cards right on top. And then another idea is to take manipulatives such as pom-poms, and you want to have the same colors as the shamrocks, and then the children can just place the pom-poms, matching them with the same color shamrock, just like that. And you can do this also during group time, maybe even during circle time. It's a fun way, again, to work on simple color matching skills. I also have this Shamrock 1 to 10 counting printable. The link is in the description. And what I do is I make 2 copies. I keep 1 copy together and I place it on the table. And you can just use as many as you want. You can go to 5, you can go to 10. And then the second copy I cut apart so they're separate cards. And then they just place the matching cards right on top, just like this. And another way you can use this is to take something like pom-poms, and then they can just place the same number of pom-poms right on top of the shamrock. I also have these alphabet shamrock cards, and what I like to do is, again, I make 2 copies. I cut 1 out so that you see the lowercase and the uppercase together, and then the other copy I completely separate, and then the children can just simply take the cards and just match them up by upper and lower case. Our light table is pretty much the same as last week. We have our rainbow, which is made from crepe paper streamers that have been put in rainbow order, and they have been laminated and attached to the light table. And then we have small pieces that the children can sort and place on the matching colors of the rainbow. And then I have my color paddles that I found this week that I'm going to add to this light table for some extra color exploration. On our easel, we have my Shamrock printable, and we're going to be mixing blue and yellow paint to make green to paint the shamrock. And at our block area, it's pretty much the same as it was last week. We had fun organizing our blocks by color using the printable, and I'll put a link to that in the description. And as we were building, we were sorting the blocks. So we were making red buildings and yellow buildings. And then I took the tubes that we had on the table last week that we had with the matching colored clips. I took that away and put the tubes here on this table so that we can just see what the children do with that along with the assorted blocks. For the last 2 weeks, we had a grocery store in our dramatic play area, and then this last week we changed it to a Starbucks coffee shop. And this was a bigger hit than I ever dreamed it would be. Our children absolutely love this area. So we're going to keep this up probably until we go on spring break a couple of weeks from now, because it's been loved so much. But the children, they enjoyed using the pretend coffee makers, and they were making drinks for each other. They were making iced tea, so they were talking about the different colors of the tea. Some children were pretending to be customers, so they were sitting at the table that's to the right of this, and then others were actually making the drinks, using the cash registers. Just a fun way to work on language skills while playing and pretending to be in a Starbucks coffee shop. One of our circle time activities this week is going to be using these magnetic wands and balls and matching them by color. And I'm going to be having the children, some of them are going to hold the wands, and some of the children will have the matching color balls, and they will come together and join them just like this. It's a fun way to work on color recognition skills. And I love doing activities like this at the circle time area because it gets the children involved. They're much more engaged when they're part of it rather than just sitting and listening to me. They are participating. And this has been so successful with our circle times. At our writing table, we have my rainbow printable. I'll drop a link in the description. And then we have our rainbow markers, and we have our rainbow dot markers. And then we have, you can see there, our color changing tornado. And I actually got this as a gift at some gift exchange a couple of years ago, and the teacher and me got so excited because I just knew our children would love watching this as the colors change, and of course they do. So we'll have that at the writing table as well as they color their rainbows. So that's how we have our classroom set up for week 2 of our rainbow theme, adding some St. Patrick's Day activities. And for those of you who are affected right now with the COVID-19 coronavirus, my thoughts and prayers are with you, and none of us know where this is going to go. And so I know here, like I said, we've already seen some outbreaks. So we're just taking extra precautions, making sure that we're doing extra hand washing, lots and lots of hand washing. As I showed you in this video, we've had to make some changes. We need to make sure that everything can be wiped down, that we can take our toys and sanitize them. And of course, we are being very careful to monitor the health of our teachers and our children. Our parents know what to look for and not to send their children to school if they have any of the symptoms. So I'm reaching out to all of you. I know that we're from all over this world. I've had some of you email me telling me that your schools are closed, and we don't know, that could happen here as well. So we're just taking it one day at a time and trying to stay as healthy as possible. And that is my wish for all of you as well. Thanks for watching.